Did you know that the total land area of Liechtenstein is roughly only 62 square miles, that is 168 square kilometers, and also that the capital, Vaduz, actually only has a population of just over 5,000, and that was recorded in 2014. So those facts there, those are a bit more statistical anyway, just giving you, I guess, a bit more of a brief idea of what Liechtenstein is really like and how small it actually is, because it is really a micronation, if you say. So we've got lots to do this episode. If you missed the last episode, then we made a lot of progress, really having good fun actually playing this. We went ahead and did lots of stuff. We went ahead and worked on Rose Hills, and I've not had a chance to go ahead and check for new names. I really want a new name for this place though, so if you've got a good name, go ahead and leave it down below. One thing I can already see which is pissing me off is that I need to turn traffic lights off at this junction here, just because there's a lot of traffic building up and I don't think there's really much need. Having that bus stop there is maybe not the best thing either, because lots of buses are stopping there and it's just not practical. Lots of people waiting here on buses actually. But the bus is definitely being effective. We checked at the end of the last episode and the bus was overall saving, like, I think maybe roughly 60% of trips, which is a wonderful thing to see. Anyway, here, this is one thing I do want to go ahead and have a little bit of a closer look at, because we just plopped it down last episode and I didn't actually get a chance to properly look at it. So it's the cross-country skiing park, which this is an Winter Olympic sport actually, where you go ahead and there is cross-country skiing, which it looks such hard work, honestly. I mean, first of all, I can't ski. I've never tried, to be fair, so I might be able to. I used to do a lot of rollerblading when I was younger anyway, actually, and I absolutely loved it. I realise it's not the same principle, but again, it's the closest thing to it like skateboarding and snowboarding would be. But it looks pretty cool anyway, something I would definitely like to try at some point in my life. Definitely really do want to do skiing. Maybe not cross-country skiing, but skiing I think would be an absolute blast. Anyway, we're going to start off with this episode with building housing, because that is our demand. And we've also got the infrastructure in place. That was totally wrong, do not build. No, I need to dezone. You can't overwrite, that's strange actually. That could cause a problem. We're just going to go ahead and delete that there, and all is good. So let's go ahead and rephrase what I was saying. We're going to go ahead and build some residential because the demand is here right now and Rose Hills can support it. In between this and the last episode, just went ahead and added to the path network just so people can get around easier, and this also connects into this end of town up here, which is something that I was aiming for. We can also go ahead and add in one or two more streets as well, which is what I'm going to do just to maximise out this area, and then we're going to work on districts. So we can add in a relatively small street, nothing too spectacular going along here. If we can just get that to work and then get you to end. More just about, that is a really bad ending. That is honestly the worst ending to a street ever. I mean, I could create a cul-de-sac sort of thing, which would actually make sense and allow for an easier turning point. But at the same time, I think we're just going to have to go for the straight end road here, like that for example, and there's a path connection which is good. Then at this side, we're going to have to go ahead and basically do something similar. Just, I can get in at least another one or maybe even two roads over on this side actually, so that works quite well. And I think I'm going to get another one in here actually. Not wanting to overpopulate things, but I can definitely get one. I should be able to get one in here. There we go, there we have it. That is an extra street. However, it did delete my path, which is kind of frustrating. So I need to go ahead and just very quickly do that, and that should solve my issue, which is grand. Very quickly also actually just go ahead and add in a tiny bit there as well, and that works out fine there. So with all that, we can go ahead and add in more housing. The housing demand though dropped a little bit more. There's a bit more commercial demand though, which I'm happy to go ahead and work towards. So this end of town is looking nice. I really like it. Very basic and is what I was after. I think we're going to add another key along the front here as well actually. Going up to the top of town though, we can definitely go ahead and get maybe some more businesses in up here. Especially some more retail. So there's a few little plots here which I'm happy to go ahead and allocate into retail. There's also a bit of a gap here which we can go ahead and use, and also in there. And further along here, not really. I don't really want to go past this pathway, to be honest. Ignore this absolute mess that was from the last episode. I could go ahead and create a wee bit more of a shopping area, but for the time being I'm happy with that. What I do want to do is go ahead and paint some districts. That's what I really do need to do. So we're going to go ahead and split Rose Hills basically into 3. It's going to have like one end, the other end, and the housing in the middle. That is what I need to go ahead and do. So for this, I am actually going to have to pay quite a bit of attention to detail. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start off with the more easy zone anyway, which is our larger, and to be honest, I'm not really paying that much attention to detail here, am I? So this is the larger area. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tidy up the edges basically a little bit anyway. It's not necessarily going to be bang on roads or anything like that. I don't have that steady hand first of all, so it's a little bit difficult. But for example, down this road here, there is no need for this at all. And we need to just go ahead and get rid of it because this is our bypass roads. And if we're going to go ahead and ban whatever the policy is called, I can't remember. It's something like ban roads, vehicles, or ban heavy something something, then we need to go ahead and have access to that road. And then something similar at this end, to be honest, but I think we should be totally fine. I'm going to go ahead and cut off a little bit here though, because it's a bit unnecessary, and that works out nicely. So with all that done, we can go ahead and implement, and to be fair, I don't actually need to put the other areas in. I just need to go ahead and apply a policy to this larger Rose Hills housing area here. So if we go ahead and add on the heavy traffic ban, that means that any goods vehicles aiming for Port Vaduz will go around the longer way, which is something I want to see. For the time being as well, I think we can turn traffic lights off there. Don't think there's really much need for it. There's really no, I mean, there's maybe 1 or 2 places in Balzers right now, but bar that, literally no need for traffic lights at all on this map. Anyway, we're going to wait and see what the demand happens with the demands. What I'm going to do is I'm going to key some more of this river up here, and we're going to go ahead and key part of it along here, along the waterfront of this end of Rose Hills. Not all of it, but at least part of it anyway, and then we can go ahead and maybe play around with some prop and tree anarchy and get something a little bit different. So we can go ahead and try more rocks, we can go ahead and try tree combinations, all that sort of lovely stuff. So first things first, I need to go ahead and turn off snapping because it's annoying me to fuck. Right, I want to go ahead and try and make this as smooth as possible, to be honest, but I know how difficult this can be, and it's already being a bit of a bitch, to be honest. I'm getting good results though, actually, and it's nice flat land down at the waterfront here as well, which is what I like, and to be fair, I'm happy with that. Basically what I do at the end is I want to go ahead and very quickly just turn prop and tree anarchy on, and I'm going to go ahead and just detail them up with rocks a little bit, to be honest, because when I go ahead and do something like this, then you can't really see the, I guess, rough edge, which is something I'm trying to hide. So I mean, that's not the best there anyway, but going ahead and just adding in rocks, this will go ahead and make that little bit of a difference. That rock there's a little bit too big, that's for sure. What other rocks have we got here? Finally got the search mod working, which is something that I really wanted because it just makes my life that bit easier. That's probably a wall, that's not really going to work. A lot of these don't work too well, to be honest, which is not practical, but some of them do work quite well. It just, going ahead, I've probably not done the best here, but when we go ahead and add in the path, we'll add some trees along the front, everything will work out nicely. So for this, again, adding on to my coastal path, which is going to be something which is going to take quite a while to create. However, it was an idea that I talked about in the last episode, so if you've not seen the last episode, I really highly recommend you go ahead and check it out. Anyway, we're just going to create a path which sort of just weaves along here, which is sort of just in parallel to the path on the side of the road, yes, but it's gonna, I'm gonna detail it up a little bit. I'm gonna make it a proper like waterfront sort of path. That's my aim anyway. So that is us left the key area, and then this is where it can sort of just have a little bit more freedom, to be honest. I'm not really getting too much freedom with the curves right now, actually, just because the road is running parallel and the road is restricting me access, really. We're going to go ahead and create a tunnel here, though. We're going to have to, unfortunately. So we'll go ahead and create you down, create you along, and then bring you back up. And then if we can go ahead and sort of do something like that. It's gone ahead and created a bit of a mess, to be honest, but we can go ahead and definitely sort that out. Then we can go ahead and cut this back a little bit here. A little bit more, actually. And then we'll go ahead and work on something like that. So there we go, that looks absolutely splendid. For now anyway, I need to go, you know what I mean, like, just guess what I've done. You're just looking at that image, guess what I've done. I always forget to turn it off. Prop and Tree Anarchy, man, it can be my biggest killer, honestly. But that is coming all the way now from Port Vaduz, which is good. So in a sense, if people wanted to walk down to Port Vaduz to work, you can go ahead and do so. Don't really know why you would, but you can. You now have that option once I remove the trees. And there is a path connection somewhere along here anyway. Or there was, I thought, but I'll go ahead and create a proper connection in a second. First of all though, I need to go ahead and remove all the trees which are on the path, because that was me being stupid and forgot to turn Prop and Tree Anarchy off. So I'm very quickly just going to go ahead and fix my error. So there we go, that looks much better at this side anyway. I think I just dropped down too deep. I dropped down to like a -24, which was unnecessary, and that was why it was creating just a hideous entranceway. The other side isn't as pretty, but hopefully just going ahead and applying a little bit of softener. It's really not helping, is it? It's really not. You're supposed to soften the terrain, and you're really not. This side as well, actually, it's worked out not too bad at all either. I just need to go ahead and add a little bit of rockery, I guess, inset, and we can hopefully go ahead and cover it up a little bit and just make it look like a much more natural entrance, because that is something which I think we can definitely go ahead and do. Looking at the castle here, actually, like, the king, or the prince of Liechtenstein, he lives in a castle, the Vaduz Castle. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it anyway, Vaduz Castle, and that is it's a really iconic building. I've got an interesting fact actually, which I'll maybe use in the next episode. I want to go ahead and keep that one, but it's very important. It's where the king has lived for most of his, or I'm pretty sure all of his reign since the Principality was established in like 1608, I believe. So it's a very big deal. It's a very iconic symbol in Liechtenstein, and I'm not 100% sure where it is, but I'd like to build one on the banks and go ahead and create like a proper garden and everything like that, which should be really, really cool. I probably am going to go ahead and use a mod, but I just want to go ahead and have a look at some of the in-game stuff anyway. The castle ruins here aren't too bad, and that could symbolise maybe an older castle, for example, which is something which I'm totally all for. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just do a little bit more detailing. I also need to add in trees into this area as well, because we're, I think, lacking in that department anyway. Just going ahead and making this feel a bit more like a path, to be honest. I'm going to go ahead and increase the size and decrease the strength first of all. I'm just going to go ahead and just decorate this place just a little bit better. As we come up towards the Port Vaduz, we're going to have issues just because of the pollution, but in general things shouldn't be too bad. Along the quay, hopefully things, I mean, these trees are going to slowly start to die as we get closer to the pollution, but again, just giving that little bit of extra detail and freedom anyway. So that's me added in some trees. The final little few things I want to do for this segment of it anyway, before we go ahead and leave this for a few episodes, is to just go ahead and have you sort of curl in more naturally like that, so you're opposite that path. I should maybe go ahead and try adding a crossing, because that would be really good actually. And we're starting to see a lot of use of paths. I mean, I know there's just the one guy here, Winston Gray, but in general some of our paths are getting used quite a lot. You can see a person there, a person there. I've got a feeling I've gone ahead and did something similar with Prop and Tree Anarchy anyway with trees here, because I mean that tree's taking over the path. But in general, there's a few people out and about, which is good, and as long as they're getting a little bit of use, then I am happy. So the final, or there's a few different things I need to still do with this path. I need to go ahead and make a proper connection up this end, that is for sure, because there is actually crossings here. So go ahead and just build this tiny wee path. So there we have something like that. I want to go ahead and just commemorate this part of the waterfront, maybe go ahead and grab a fountain or something, see what I can go ahead and find in here, and just give it maybe a few benches as well, and just give it something a little bit nice. So that kind of fountain doesn't work too badly. Those fountains are kind of small. That's way too big though. I'm going to have to go with maybe a few of these. So if we go ahead and do the risk and turn Prop and Tree Anarchy on, I can go ahead and add 2 of these actually, and that sort of just goes ahead and covers up a bit of the decal, which is, or not decal, just the missing part of the pathway, which is kind of frustrating. Then we're going to go ahead and check out a few benches, just add a few of you guys in, and then we'll all be set to go. Just give it a little bit of detail anyway, and I'm quite happy with that for the time being. Again, just little basic things go ahead and can make a huge difference, and that is a possible thumbnail now going forward, even though it probably needs a little bit more work. The next and final thing we need to do is, so there's a double connection there, which is good. There's also a connection over here. Gonna make probably another connection roughly around about here anyway. How easy is that gonna be? I don't really know. There we go. Nice and easy. Final thing I want to do is just add in a few rocks, as I was saying, up this end very quickly. So if we go ahead and very quickly just search up more rocks, then I'm just going to go ahead and just sort of some of the issues here I just want to go ahead and deal with. So that's hidden a bit more better, and I'm going to go ahead and just add in a few along here as well, just make this look a wee bit more part of the natural environment, I guess you could say. Even just a little bit like that, that works. That works, and it just covers up a little bit. It's not perfect, but it will do. And this side actually is working out really well. The only one thing I do want to do is maybe go ahead and add in a few rocks there like that, and we're all good. And eventually at some point, if we jump back up here to Port Vaduz, probably fill most of this area out, because this is the worst part here, having just like sheer drops. That is just hideous. And that's what rocks really go ahead, and I think do quite well anyway. They go ahead and just allow for that to be hidden. Like so, and now you really can't see it, to be honest. You can hardly see that there's a problem there. It does look a bit out of place. That's why I'm going to fill most of this area up with rocks. Anyway, we've done this for way too long. We need to go ahead and focus on the wider issues in the game. That is for sure. So you're having some general garbage issues, which isn't good. So if we go ahead and run up here, this is our only garbage place actually. We've got all our garbage trucks in use, and they're maybe not getting around. We've also got 53% full of that landfill and 40, so I'm going to go ahead and open up some more recycling facilities just at a different end of the map, and it's probably going to be up here right beside or right out the way of the houses and behind the commercial on this street here. I think that would just allow for better garbage collection, and maybe not have a landfill up here, but just have a recycling centre and the landfills down there. So for that, again, I just keep going on the wrong menu, to be honest. When I talk, I struggle to focus, if you've not gathered, so going ahead though, and that was not the thing I wanted to build. You know what, I mean, that is literally the prime example, and thank God I actually did that, because I still had Prop and Tree Anarchy on. Like, literally, I do not learn from my mistakes, do I? Anyway, going in here, so we have our recycling. This is a recycling centre, 100,000,000%, yes, it is a large recycling centre. So that will have extra trucks, and they can go ahead and serve this area, and the other recycling centre can serve Balzers and Port Vaduz. Right, how are we doing? There's still a high demand for housing, and we can go ahead and accommodate for that. So very quickly just go ahead and zone up the final few streets we have here, and then I think we should be good to probably go ahead and start a new village actually. I've got a new idea, or not a new idea, but I've got an idea of where the next place we're going to go to is, and that's going to be up in the mountains. And there's a reason for that, which we might get to this episode, we probably will actually. So that's going to fill out anyway. It's not really much more demand for industrial, to be honest, which is something which is kind of putting me, it's kind of annoying me, to be honest, because I really do want more demand for that. I'm just thinking where else can I put commercial. I don't want to necessarily make this town too long, because I think it fits its borders quite well. You can sort of see the path along the bottom here. That's a good limit, so it's keeping this area open here, and very similarly at the other end. I mean, we've got a path here which sort of wanders down, and that connects all the way up, and that's sort of, the town is incorporated in with these two paths. I like it. It's sort of tucked away. Same with Balzers. Balzers is in a pretty similar situation, you know, it sort of cuts off roughly at this end here. It's got its restriction. Then if you come up here, it's, I mean, it's restricted by the river, to be honest, but it works out quite nicely. The bottom line is though, I do need to go ahead and add in some more commercial, so I'm going to go ahead and add in a little bit of commercial at the end of these streets here, which is something which I wasn't the biggest fan of, but because we've got the traffic ban, whatever it is, I cannot remember, I don't know why. We've also got like a extra wide road here, so don't think it would cause too many issues, and if it does cause too many traffic issues, then we can simply go ahead and just remove some of this commercial. But that's quite a lot of commercial zoned there actually in this housing estate, and also added in some more, a little bit more, tiny wee bit more back in Balzers as well. So definitely some more opportunities coming, and all our levels in general are dropping down, which I'm quite happy about. So what I was talking about was our mountain village. So I could go ahead and build another village in the valley, which I've been thinking about. However, I want to go ahead and maybe work on more of a ski village, more of a place with hotels and commerce. It's not really going to be too much of a village, to be honest. It's just going to be a little place in the mountains with a lot of, I guess you could say, snow sports. I'm going to look for some ski props in the next video, and again we can go ahead and mess around with prop and tree anarchy. That's the aim. So where that would be is, right now we have Rose Hill, or Rose Hills. And then if you continue up the road, you're going to get into this place here, which is sort of going to be a large town. I'm going to go ahead and build this town up with relatively, how do you put it, like relatively high density buildings and quite cramped together. So it's going to have pretty much the properties of a city, to be honest. Now, in Liechtenstein itself, in general, over here you have, this is where the capital is, this is where Vaduz is. This is the majority of flat land, this is where the majority of villages are. However, there's a lot of resources over here, and I want to go ahead and just touch them a little bit, so I just basically get familiar with how all that works. So that's why the capital, I mean, I still don't know, it just depends how things work out, but I definitely want to have a relatively dense, it's going to be quite small in surface area, because I don't want it to connect up to Rose Hills, for example, but I do want a quite dense area here. That is definitely a strong possibility. Anyway, this mountain village, it's going to be on this road here, which is a road that weaves up into the mountains, and then it's going to go ahead and come down here, and also want to have a railway coming up here as well, because I've mentioned this before, when I was in Switzerland, which again is quite similar to Liechtenstein, though there is distinct differences, yes, then I went up on a railway cart pretty much up the hill in Switzerland, up this quite steep hill, which was pretty cool, and with that, I could see us creating something very similar. It's maybe just it's not just an Alps thing. I know it's not just an Alps thing, so it'd be pretty cool to go ahead and recreate that. Anyway, I need to go ahead and just create an alternate route for this pylon, which that is absolutely hideous. Gonna go ahead and create the road up to there now, so it gives us a head start for the next episode. So go ahead and build right under this highway, and then we'll go ahead and bring you back up. Nice and easy. And this is going to be the more exciting part, I guess, just having this road just sort of weave up the hill. And we also need to make sure that we leave room for a railway line coming up the hill as well. So I'll maybe let that come up the right hand side of this road, so I'll stick to the left of this general valley. I know this area up here is I'm not gonna build, for example, up the valley, because I think that would be a bit stupid, but I just want to have sort of that nice mountainous feel, like, you know, there's not gonna be a dual carriageway coming up the hill. It's gonna be sort of a road which, don't get me wrong, this road is relatively straight, but I'm going ahead and trying to add in some curves into it anyway to go ahead and give it that twisty, windy feel, because I definitely found that was the case in quite a few different places in Switzerland, especially just weaving in and around the higher parts of hills and in the valleys. It just was very, very messy. But that is that road created there. That's just to build on from the future anyway, and we can go ahead and see how that goes. It's not going to be anything big up here, but I do want to go ahead and work on a little something up here. There's also possibilities of going ahead and adding in a rally track up here as well. That'd be pretty cool, because we also have this valley over here as well. We have a few summits. We have this corner all the way over here. So there's a lot of land, and you need to remember that this map is actually primarily hills. We do not have a lot of flat land at all. So going ahead and looking at the natural resources over here, there's a strong possibility we could go ahead and build a city over here, but there's a bit of fertile land which I'm happy to go ahead and make into farms. Maybe this area here would be a really good place to go ahead and do that. I've seen farms being created, though I've not ever done it myself. I don't think, is there any oil on this map? There's a bit of ore here actually, so there's a possibility we could go ahead and create mines on this strip here, and that would work well, because I think it'd be really, really difficult to get much actually built in this valley. You could make sort of maybe a 1 or 2 roads town, which is a possibility to go and serve the mines, but you couldn't really get too much or anything special there anyway. There's lots of forestry which you can go ahead and do, though unfortunately I'm not seeing. Okay, there's a tiny bit of oil, but it's just outside. There's a bit of oil, that's the bottom line. It's up here in the hills, so we need to go ahead and extract that. I don't know if there's any more on the map though. Oh, there is actually a really, really large area over here, so we can definitely go ahead and extract this. going forward. It's probably something I should have looked at the start of the series, to be honest. Just go ahead and look at my information maps and extract and build around that. However, it's good to know rough locations where we're going to be looking for. So I sort of feel I'm twiddling my thumbs at the end of this episode. We've gone ahead and got all this area here. Bottom line is I'm going to have to go ahead and extend the housing area. That is the real issue, and I'm going to go ahead and do it in here. It's just the demand is extremely high and we've not gone ahead and really made everything work out, but I've got an idea which should hopefully go ahead and work out. So the first thing is we're going to go ahead and delete this path here. Now unfortunately the surface tool, I kind of really fucked up with it, so I'm going to go ahead and remove some of this here very quickly, just increase the size a little bit, just cut some of this back. I don't want to make it too hideous though, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to extend this road out here quite a bit actually, and then we're gonna have another housing area back here which is going to link round ideally into another street, probably not really at all sure which one. That one, no, I think we can connect into that one there actually. So this is going to go ahead and just create a longer through street, and then we're going to go ahead and have a connection coming from probably about this one as well actually. So we'll go ahead and build you in like that, so that just provides that little bit of more housing, which is something I want to see. And I think we'll also do a connection here as well, because this will just give us more houses at the end of the day. So if it'll go ahead and stop doing that, just go ahead and build a straight road there, then that is all good. Go ahead and just apply some more housing down. Now I'm going to have to go ahead unfortunately and do some more piping, because I believe this area is not served currently. But this will just hopefully, I'm just playing a lot of stuff off demand, literally a lot of stuff off demand, and seeing how things go while we continue to build for the future. So this is this area in here, which is good. If I go ahead and first of all extend this district out a little bit, I think that's going to be necessary now, just like so. And then we need to go ahead and finally give it some heated pipes. Part of it's already connected up actually, but not all of it, but now it is. And that should hopefully go ahead, and I just want some more industrial demand. That's really what I want. I do totally realise that industrial is something which I'm going to need to go ahead and build a larger population up, more commercial, all that sort of stuff. They sort of feed off each other. And also I could go ahead and install a mod which would allow me to go ahead and manipulate those values. I don't really want to. I want to try and play this game in some elements anyway, naturally. But with all that done, what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to wrap this episode up here, because I feel I've not done too much this episode, but we have got a lot of issues done at the start, which was good, and just done a little bit of building, a little bit of talking and planning for the future anyway, and we also extended my coastal path, which I was extremely happy about as well. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this episode up here, so please leave it a like, rating, subscribe if you are new around here. Hope you're enjoying this series. Any tips, comments and suggestions are welcomed down below. You've got some links on screen to videos which you may or may not have seen. Go ahead and click appropriately. And that's all for this video, so thank you very much for watching. My name is ConflctNerd and I'm out.